is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. Michael Vuckovich is the superintendent of the Indiana Area School District. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Mike, it used to be that we just took for granted. School happened in the fall, took the rest of the year, and everything just went swimmingly and smoothly. We can't take anything for granted anymore, can we? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. It's great to be on again, and thank you for the opportunity to tell a little bit about what's going on here in the district. And we're going to tell our story, and we appreciate the time we do have with our kids in school and maintaining a safe environment. So, again, thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Our pleasure. Now, the junior high situation, the announcement coming a little bit earlier this week about a positive test there. That obviously kicks in a number of different action items for you and the team there at Indiana Area School Districts. So take me through that process. What went into the decision to continue as you are?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I think the first thing I want to be abundantly clear on is this is a team decision that's involving our administration, the local health department, our health experts that we have on staff through our school nurses, as well as the local experts that we partner up with IRMC. And we look at each case on an individual basis. As you know, Todd, there's a state recommendation, and our health plan is reflective of that we have a 2-week window. We look at the number of cases within a 2-week window, and that determines what our course of action is. And what we want to do is really get to the granular details and look at some of the facts. And I got to be very clear on this. As I know it may cause some consternation throughout a lot of school districts, the best thing that we have done so far was enact and continue the hybrid model, as well as maintaining the 6 feet of social distancing. And as you can see, a result of some of the communications we sent out, the model's working. It's allowing us to stay open. And by having that 6 feet of social distancing in place, it allows us to limit the number of people and students who may be quarantined by the impact. So I got to be honest with you, Todd. Times like this, at all times, we should be 100% transparent and honest, but more importantly, in the middle of a pandemic. So in my letters, I try to include some rationale why we're staying open, because the details matter, and they vary from case to case. And I hope those correspondents that we're posting online and to our families give them a little bit of insight about our decision-making and rationale that we're using, because it's not one and done by myself here at the Central Admin. It's done with a team of people looking at the facts, looking at the data, and the recommendations from our experts, and we try to do everything we can to, one, maintain a safe environment for all students, and two, continue to move the organization forward by educating our kids while maintaining safe standards.
Well, it does take a great amount of investigation, and you have to start at square one. You can't skip a step, can you?
No, you can't. There's a process, and we're going to follow that process, and the process is fluid. The toughest part about this, Todd, you ask any superintendent, teacher, even a parent, it's fluid. It's ever-changing, and the facts and details matter, and it takes time to investigate that. And I think what you see sometimes is an overwhelmed system on the part of the Department of Health, where sometimes information comes late the next day or even 2 days later, which is no one's fault. It's reflective of the system. But I'm proud to say the process protocols we put in place are working, and it's evident by the fact that we're able to maintain open and haven't had the recommendation to close. So we're proud of the work we're doing. Most importantly, we're proud of the board for making tough decisions to stay forward with the hybrid model, because, again, Todd, we're seeing a return on investment, and most importantly, our families. Our families have been incredible working with their children to make sure they're maintaining the mask all day and they're following the procedure. So we're going to go one day at a time, but so far so good, sir.
Families, of course, are so important to this, as you said. They're such a key, and we've had cases in elementary schools and in high schools across Indiana County, including within your buildings. Families can get concerned, and putting their concerns at ease has to be a part of this whole thing, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's why you'll see that the immense amount of communications, and I flippantly apologize to our families sometimes because I hate to keep emailing them, but last week there were several emails sent out because I think the families need to know, and I think it's by it being their child, we have a responsibility to communicate what's going on, what our action is, and why we're doing what we're doing as far as staying open or closing. I think that's important for families to know, not only the fact that they have to prepare according on their end, but also for the fact they know we're doing everything we can. And you'll see in my letters, we keep reemphasizing the fact that the hybrid model that we instituted for the second 9 weeks again is working, and that's what's allowing us to stay open and maintain a safe environment. So communication is key. Our families, Otan, have been great as far as working with us, maintaining the rules and guidelines that we set forth in our health and safety plan. And I got to tell you, it's not convenient for anyone, and we get that, and we surrender to that. But if our goal is to stay open, and that's what seems to be the wish of our community, then we had to put these rules in place to allow us to stay open. And our families have met the moment, and they've been nothing but incredible. And there's a lot of that credit needs to go to the board from making a tough decision with the hybrid. As you know, it's a tough decision what to do, and it's been working so far. And again, I know it doesn't help everyone or please everyone. There's bumps in the roads, but it's enabling us to stay open at this point by maintaining the hybrid and 6 feet social distancing.
I have to ask you the same question I've asked other leaders in other school districts to compare the situation in March when there was so much uncertainty and information flying at you from every different angle every single day. Decisions had to be made on the spur of the moment. You had to live with those decisions. To now, when you've had a summer to prepare, now you've been in school for a couple of months, and you've been able to make adjustments. Talk about that whole environment, if you would.
Yeah, I think here's the two big things that came out. One, we gave families a choice. When we were closed, we didn't have the capacity or readiness to give them a choice as far as what type of instructional model they want. Asynchronous, synchronous, face-to-face instruction. This time over the summer, our teachers, our administration spent a great deal of time working with our board of directors, looking at different options. And what I'm most proud of is they actually have that. They have options. So it includes the face-to-face in-person instruction, live synchronous opportunity for those who want it, or asynchronous. So we're able to build a model that meets a lot of needs of our families. And, for example, as long as we can maintain social distancing, those students who may be at risk or struggling or not doing well in the current model they selected, we allow them to come back and get extra support, because you can't just, if there's a lot of gray in this decision, and we want to make sure we have options for everyone. And the second thing I want to really talk about and really expand upon and give a lot of credit to is the teachers for being so flexible with regard to the synchronous model to really give kids that face-to-face in-person instruction. I got to tell you, Todd, in my opinion, that social emotional needs of our kids is just as important as the physical needs of our students. And our teachers have done, and our support staff and everyone have done an incredible job really reaching out to our families, connecting the best we can to make sure this is a positive experience to the best of our current abilities. But I think we're meeting the moment. I think, like anyone else, we have a lot of work to do to continue to improve, and we're aware of that. We're cognizant of that. But there's work to be done, and we're trying to meet the moment the best we can, sir.
I think one of the interesting aspects of the whole thing is, as well, teachers are teaching their subject matter, yes, but in their demeanor, in the way that they are handling this situation, it's very, very important that they show the students who are on the other end of that computer link that difficulties happen in life, and they just have to be handled, and keeping a calm head about it and finding the solutions that are there. They just might take a little bit of digging to find them. It's very important for kids to see people who are working things out.
Yeah, Todd, I couldn't agree more. And the way I like to summarize it here at Indiana Area School District is mindset matters, right? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And as Henry Ford said in the past. So we value mindset. We value working through finding solutions and not reasons for failure. Failure is a part of life. We're going to learn from it. We're going to get better. But it's not who you are. It's just a single act in your life. So we're learning to get better. We're trying to teach kids how to, the word grittiness is often overused, but we're trying to teach our staff and students that we can't get through this. We can't get through it together, and we're going to do one step at a time. I think what you see a lot of people fail with at life, and I know I'm going down different tangents, but people try to take on and eat the whole problem and beat the whole problem rather than take on one step at a time. So we have a nice logical pace here in a district where we go slow to go fast, take it one day at a time, and we're teaching kids and staff that resiliency. Happiness is not just, a feeling. It's an integral ingredient to our success here in this district. We want people to feel happy. We want people to feel safe and involved and secure. And right now, that's the pandemic and some of the things that we're doing has pushed that to the limit. But we recognize and we realize that until we address the social and emotional needs of both of our adults and our young learners, then we're not going to get the academic needs we want. So my point to you, Todd, is we value relationships, and we put that at the heart of what we do. And I think that's what makes Indiana so great.
We're talking with Indiana Area Superintendent Michael Vuckovich as we continue to forge our way forward during this pandemic age. Michael, is the infrastructure holding up?
Yes, sir. So far, so good. Like anything else, there's always some bumps in the roads. Right now, what we're doing, Todd, is we have planned internally in case anything else happens and the cases rise throughout the country and worsen and we're forced into another shutdown. We are working on protocols and plans to put in place to make sure that we're able to continue our education with minimal disruption. And that's the big part. And, there may be a lot of work for naught, but we think that's integral in case something were to worsen, that we're ready to go to meet the moment, because I think now more than ever that continuity of education is needed for our families, needed for our students, and we're going to do our best to meet that moment as well, sir.
And there's, of course, the feeling that by going with the hybrid model, students have both the in-class experience and the online experience, so that if you are forced to go all online, well, they're already in that swim. They're already in the pool. They know what to do.
Yeah, Todd, you're absolutely right. In June, the Pennsylvania Department of Education got together with one of the regional ed labs here in the Mid-Atlantic, which is a federal think tank, and they did a report, and they said, look, what type of scenarios are best for staying open? And a couple things came out of it. One, your best case of maintaining a continuity of education throughout this pandemic probably would be a hybrid model with 6 feet social distancing in place. So we looked at that research, and again, it wasn't us, it wasn't local, this was a national think tank. We looked at that research, took it quite seriously, and that's how we built our plan around, because if that gave us the greatest possibility to stay open and, mitigate prolonged closures, then that was our goal. And it's not best and it's not ideal for everyone, and I get that. We're working with the families who need more. But the hybrid model has allowed us to continue as we are and to continue to stay open, to provide kids with the best that we can give them at this current time. And you're right. If there was a prolonged closure, a lot of our kids have been acclimated to this process in grades 7 through 12, and they're ready to go if a closure were to come. And again, I don't want to be doom and gloom because I don't know what the future predicts. I know this. We'll do our best, though, to meet that moment, no matter what happens.
On the elementary level, kids adapted pretty well.
Kids have done an amazing job. I got to tell you, Todd, one of our biggest fears and one of our biggest concerns was the mask starting the year. Would kids wear them all day? Is this, an unrealistic expectations for students? And they've done nothing but been great. Our students have met the moment. They are keeping them up throughout the most of the day, and they have done nothing but really, really impressed me with their ability to, just want to be here. And, you see the joy in their face when they're around their peers and around their friends. And I think they're realizing our ability to remain open depends on everyone's ability to adhere and follow these rules and procedures. And they've done an incredible job, and not enough credit has been given to those young students who have done an exceptional job so far.
Terrific. Well, I appreciate your spending some time with us this morning. It's such a difficult year, I know, but folks are working hard to make it right. Michael Vuckovich, thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Hey, I appreciate it. Take care, my friend.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
It is.
You too. Bye.
It is.